And we continue at 1:06 in the afternoon on the John Phillips Show. Mr. Randy Wang's in Culver City.
John, today marks 100 days since Barbara Lee Speaks for Me became the mayor of Oakland. She just sat down for an interview with KTVU Fox 2.
They're telling me my time is up. I have to ask quickly, is it what you expected, the job of mayor?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Why'd we dump Shang for her again?
We just got more of the same.
Absolutely.
800-222-5222 is the telephone number, 1-800-222-5222. It is our pleasure to welcome our next guest to the program. He is the sheriff of Riverside County and a candidate for governor of the state of California, polling in second or third, depending on which poll you look at. You can follow him on X at Chad Bianco, and you can get him online at biancoforgovernor.com. Sheriff Chad Bianco, welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate being on and glad to finally be here.
Well, thanks so much for stopping by. So you are polling well right now, polling in the money in many of the polls or bringing up the bronze in some others. Do you believe you're going to make it on that November ballot?
Yeah, we do. We're very confident that, honestly, we'll either be, by the time it's time for everyone to vote, we'll either be one or two. There's a lot that's going to happen on the Democrat side between now and then, but we know we'll be in either the one or two spot and anxious for November.
As someone who comes from local government, obviously you're well aware of the failures of Sacramento. You're well aware of just exactly the poor services that the people of California receive from their state government, despite the fact that we pay a fortune to live here. Yet, despite the 1,000,001 problems that we experience here in California on a daily basis, it seems like your Democratic opponents in this race and the man you're all trying to succeed, Gavin Newsom, they're only interested in talking about federal issues. They want to talk about Donald Trump. They want to talk about democracy. They want to talk about the Supreme Court. They want to talk about redrawing congressional districts. They want to talk about what Texas is doing and Florida is doing and Missouri is doing. They want to talk about everything other than the problems going on here. How do you believe you'll be able to shift the conversation back to those bread and butter issues that Californians care about and not allow them to hijack this race and just make it, I guess, a cable news segment that talks about what's going on in D.C.?
Yeah, it's a great question because we're seeing this. I mean, you're bringing it up. We're seeing it on a daily basis now, and it's almost like we live in a completely different world. It's going to be rather easy for me. I've done it for 32 years. In my line of work, I have quite the reputation as a good interviewer, interviewing suspects and getting information. And part of that is controlling a conversation when they don't really want to tell you the truth or tell you what you really want to know. And so I don't have a problem with this at all. And that will be the difference between any other race that we've had in the past and me being in the race is I will not allow anyone to talk about anything except the issues that are harming California. And President Trump is not harming California. Nothing that the federal government is doing is harming California. We will talk about rising crime, uncontrollable crime with bad laws and bad policy. We'll talk about the cost of living. We'll talk about the cost of gas, cost of housing, all of the things that are killing Californians right now. That is what the discussions will be whenever I'm in the room. And we even had a similar thing already in Sacramento. And I even had to say, I feel like I'm in the twilight zone. There's nobody talking about the truth or telling the truth, and there's nobody talking about current issues. We're blaming everything on Trump. And, I mean, it honestly, there's 500 people in the room or more, and it got a big laugh out of all of them because it was obvious. And I made them talk about what we wanted to talk about. And so this doesn't concern me at all because, quite honestly, this has been my life for 32 years.
Someone who comes from law enforcement, I'm sure you've seen it all over the years. But what Gavin Newsom has done recently is really a shocker to me, which is to give himself a personality transplant over the last 2 months, where he tried to transform himself from being this gentry class winemaker from San Francisco, who was the Democrat who had Republican in-laws and could figure out how to talk to red America, talk to people in red counties in California, understand them, and persuade them to vote for the Democratic ticket. That's when he decided to have people like Charlie Kirk on the podcast and Steve Bannon and Michael Savage and others. Well, when the reaction was negative to that and he realized that Democrats just hate Donald Trump with the hot, hot hate of 1,000 suns, and let's not forget he would be running in a Democratic primary for president, so that's the only crowd he's talking to right now, he turned on a dime and looks like this guy with rabies who's just frothing at the mouth every time you put a microphone in front of him. On social media, he's real bitchy and nasty. And he is now trying to show you at every opportunity how enraged he is at Donald Trump. He just participated in a forum in Sacramento with Chris Catalogo from Politico, where he just ran him over looking like this manic guy every time he was asked a question. Do you think he's on drugs?
No, he's just a quintessential politician. If I have to give Gavin Newsom credit for anything, he is probably the most articulate and at the same time slimy politician that the world has ever seen. He is everything that is wrong with politicians, but at the same time, if you are a politician, he's everything right. He answers depending on his audience. He can change at the drop of a dime. He has no integrity, no honesty, none of that, because every audience, 5 minutes apart, requires a different answer if you're trying to win them over. He doesn't stand on anything. He's just trying to win votes. So this doesn't surprise me in the least. It's almost like it, depending on the platform, he's turning into Donald Trump. He acts like he is Donald Trump. He's writing in all caps now. He's trying to be, all of a sudden in California, he's trying to be the pro-public safety guy. He had some stupid press conference today saying that he's deploying the highway patrol to stop crime, and even including Riverside County. Give me a break. That's the last thing we need is Newsom in our county trying to get a handle on crime. What we really need, if he wants to make a difference, he can add money to the Prop 36 that he's failing to fund. It's everything about him is just dishonest and typical slimy politician.
Well, and what he's saying makes no sense. And I guess with stats, you can find, some category that proves your point somewhere. But the argument that he's making is, Oakland's not violent. Rural California is where all the violence is. It's not in Oakland. It's in those small counties or in these rural counties. And you go, okay, wait a minute. I've been to those places. I never felt like my car was going to be stolen or someone was going to hit me on the head and rob me. But you turn on the local news in the Bay Area, and every day it's a story about a Kia being stolen and used as a battering ram to steal an ATM somewhere. And it's like what he's saying on social media and what he's saying in these forums are in no way related to reality. But he's you know what he reminds me of? He reminds me of OJ at the end, where I think that OJ at the end actually believed he didn't kill Ron and Nicole. And I think that Newsom is in a place right now where he actually believes that the bullet train exists and it's a very convenient way to go from L.A. to San Francisco, and Oakland is the safest city in America, and the budget's fine, and there's no homelessness here. It seems like he has convinced himself of that.
Yeah, for sure. And here's the thing: is this isn't unique to him either. It's his far left agenda. And this goes back to their playbook and the Saul-Alinsky playbook. You have to repeat the lie so many times, and then the media does it for him. He doesn't even have to be the one out there saying it. He just has to say it several times a week, and the media plays it a dozen times or more. So everyone hears this same thing over and over and over, and then they begin to question themselves. Well, gee, maybe I'm wrong about Oakland. Maybe they did clean it up. Maybe I'm wrong about the rural counties. Maybe they did all of a sudden get bad because everyone's talking about it. And psychologically, you try and influence people through their emotions. And I got to give it to him. He's a master at it because he has no shame. He has no integrity. He has no character. And it's just all about lying every single day to try and somehow get enough people to vote for him for president.
We're speaking with Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco, candidate for governor, who you can get online at biancoforgovernor.com. Sheriff Bianco, let's shift gears momentarily and talk about policy here in California, because Scott Wiener, the senator from San Francisco, has a bill that is working its way through the legislature that would strip away a lot of control from local government to block projects that they don't want in their communities. We know, for example, in Los Angeles, there was a single-family home community in the San Fernando Valley where they wanted to put up a high-rise building, high-density housing in an area that wasn't built for that, and the neighbors didn't want it, and I don't think they ever made a convincing argument that the electrical grid could support it, or that there was enough parking, or that the sewage could support it. But Wiener believes that we just need to put our foot on the gas pedal and just say yes to all projects, regardless of those concerns. When I talk to people here in California, and I've lived here my entire life, you find very few people who want to live in those high-density buildings, in those tenements that Scott Wiener wants to build so passionately. If people want that, you can live in places like New York or Boston or Philadelphia, where those cities were built for that sort of thing. People in California that I talk to, they like their single-family homes. They like the ranch-style homes. They want to have a car. They want to have a yard. If they can, they want to have a pool. They want to have those sorts of things. And they certainly don't want to live in a neighborhood where they can't park their car anywhere and the electrical grid goes out every so often and you have to sit in the dark with no AC in the middle of summer. What do you make of what Scott Wiener is trying to do, and do you think that that's what Californians want?
No, absolutely it is. And traveling the state, that is completely opposite of what people want. Scott Wiener, what we have to realize and what we better start getting across through the media and especially to the voting public before next year is it is time that we stop voting for an activist. We're not voting for regular people. We're not voting for people of character, people of integrity. We're voting for activism. And Scott Wiener is one of the worst politicians that we have in Sacramento right now, because he is nothing but an agenda-driven, personal-driven person that wants everyone in the world to think, believe, and live exactly like he lives and believes. And that's not how government was designed. We can't have activists in any form of our government. Activists are supposed to be on the outskirts, that they give us our opinion so the adults at the table can take every perspective into play and then make a better decision for what is best for the whole. And we have a group of leaders in Sacramento that are nothing but activists. The bottom line with this is completely against the way America was designed. America was designed to have local control, and then you go up to the state. The state has overreaching control of basically things that involve the state, but that is not local housing. Local housing, local buildings, local businesses, those are up to what the local officials, the local elected officials, and the residents want. If they all want single-family homes, then that's what gets built there. And they make sure that their politicians that run their cities and their towns and their counties know that that's what they want. The state cannot dictate the type of home that you live in. This is absolutely against everything that is American.
Well, and here's also what drives me nuts. Right now, the state is dirty. You drive through Los Angeles, and I'm sure as you campaign up and down the state, you see it with your own two eyes on a regular basis, where people just dump their trash wherever. There's graffiti wherever. Something breaks. They don't clean it. They plant the wrong trees near the sidewalks, and the sidewalks buckle. No one seems to care. We need to clean the state up. The state used to be a pretty place, and there's no reason why it can't be a pretty place in the future. But if you have neighborhoods with no zoning, and you have a 7-story tenement next to the public health center, next to a Panda Express, next to a single-family home, next to another 7-story building, the neighborhoods are going to look like complete trash. It's going to look like a lot of these favelas in Brazil or South America, where you have all of these above ground power lines that are going across the street because the electrical grid wasn't built for that kind of neighborhood. It's going to take a place that needs a little TLC, and it's going to make it look worse. And I just can't imagine why anyone would want to make this state look worse than it already is.
It's because the people that are in the power in our state they couldn't care less what's going on in your neighborhood. They couldn't care less what's going on in your town. He lives where he lives, and that's all that he cares about. But then you have to go back to the overall agenda in the first place. They do not want anyone owning a home. They're doing everything they can through policy to make it impossible for us to afford a home, keep a home, pay the taxes on a home. They want you renting from a high rise so they can completely control this horrible idea of these 15-minute cities. They get to control where you live, how much you spend in air conditioning, how much you spend in heating, where you shop, all of those things, so the government has control of everything that you do. And if you don't go along with what they want, then guess what? You don't get to live there anymore. It's ultimately about control, and control is supposed to be in the hands of the local politicians who are first and foremost right in front of their residents, and that's how things get handled in California. And with me as the governor, that rightful balance of control will be restored to the localities.
Last question before you go. What Wiener wants to do, let's just say for whatever reason you signed on to what he wants to do with housing. What he wants also requires people to take public transit. Right now, public transit is not safe. It's not safe on the MTA in Los Angeles. It's not safe on the BART in the Bay Area. It's not safe in San Diego. There is no way you're going to get any normal person, and by normal person, I mean someone who has access to alternatives, to take public transit unless and until it's safe and clean, and they refuse to do that.
Yeah, it's wanting something on one hand, but doing exactly the opposite to make it happen on the other hand. There is no rhyme or reason to anything they do other than control, and we're not New York. We're not these places that, even other countries for high-speed rail. The West was never designed for those types of things, and we can't come in at the last minute and say, now all of a sudden we're going to make you do it. We're going to make you. I'm telling you what, I'm not riding the bus. I'm not riding the train. I'm going to get in my car and I'm going to drive there. And you are exactly right. Everyone who has the option, who is fortunate enough to have the option, is never going to pick public transportation. And that's not going to change anywhere in the West.
Sheriff Chad Bianco, the sheriff of Riverside County, candidate for governor here in the state of California. You can get him online at biancoforgovernor.com and follow him on X at Chad Bianco. Sheriff Chad Bianco, thanks so much for stopping by.
Absolutely. Appreciate being here.
If you'd like to email the show, you can do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. And Randy, now that we've hit the halfway point of today's show, if you want to continue listening after we sign off at 3, that's easy to do.
You know what I just spent the last 15 minutes doing?
What?
I was putting together a best of where I have to edit out you saying, now we've hit the halfway point of this show so I can use it at the end of a show. Search for The John Phillips Show wherever you get your podcasts, whether it's the Apple Podcast app, iHeart, Spotify. Search for The John Phillips Show. Hit subscribe. You can download all the episodes. Do a Google on the YouTube. Get the KABC app. Get the KSFO app. And find out how many politicians in California on both sides of the aisle say this word.
Absolutely.
And right now it's time to open up the California Crime Blotter.
If the cashier is dummy.
Questions?
And Randy, this is, well, it's a version of the blotter that I don't think I've ever seen before.
This is one of the craziest stories I've ever heard. As an elderly woman falls victim to an AI romance scam where she thought she was in a relationship with a star from General Hospital.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. She
more,
never met him?
She got videos from him that were AI generated that made her think that she was in a relationship with this man, so she sent him all her life savings.
Seems about right.
For more on this incredibly scary story because of how advanced the technology has gotten and how it can be used, here is ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Now, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Hello, Abigail.
They got a great VO guy.
Oh, they do.
Now, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Hello, Abigail. I love you so much, darling. I had to make this video to make you happy, my love.
That's the AI-generated video.
It sounds kind of real, but you can tell it's a robot.
But the video aspect of it as well. You see his face. He's in the car. So it's not just like an audio message.
Well, it looks like him. It even sounds like him. But what if we told you this is not actually General Hospital actor Steve Burton, and the video is being used to trick you for your money?
A woman thought she was in love with Steve Burton.
He was the one that was on that show Out of This World in the 80s. Remember that show? With Evie?
I don't remember that one.
One woman believed she was speaking directly with the soap opera star and assumed she had video proof. But in reality, she was being duped by thieves with zero connections to the actor.
How dare these people to take advantage of these women that watch Steve Burton every day for 30 years, are in love with the characters that he plays, and decide that, hey, he wants to be my boyfriend.
Well, how do you make AI work on the honeymoon when she wants to seal the deal?
Take a look at the videos for yourself. It's easy to understand the confusion. Can you tell which one is the real Steve Burton? The one on the left is him.
By the way, this all sounds like a plot from General Hospital.
Yeah, no kidding.
Which, if the writers knew what they were doing, they'd incorporate this into the show.
It could have been a plot from Out of This World.
The one on the left is him, while the one on the right is an artificial intelligence version.
Eyewitness News investigative reporter Kevin Ozbek here to explain this scam. Wow, Kevin.
Yeah, Mark and Michelle, has artificial intelligence now become so good and so advanced, you can no longer truly tell what is real and what is fake? Well, a South LA family sure thinks we've now reached that point. A woman turned to 7 On Your Side investigates after her mom lost tens of thousands of dollars and even sold her home. All because her mother thought the star of General Hospital was deeply in love with her.
Oh, boy.
I wonder if there are any AI versions of you out there that are sweet-talking some elderly shut-in.
I certainly hope not. By the way, this entire story is a public service announcement. If you have elderly parents, you better make sure that you are a signatory on all their accounts.
Oh, yes. And don't let them become president either.
I'm sickened by it because it went this far. Why didn't I know this? Why didn't I see what was happening? What?
This is the daughter.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like she's a prime target to be scammed, too.
What did I miss?
Did mom ever talk about her new boyfriend who's on the TV?
Guess who I'm dating?
Who's much younger than her?
They're on TV in the middle of the day, and it ain't Drew Carey.
Vivian Ruvlakaba wishes she knew sooner what her mother Abigail was doing online and what Abigail was texting to the scammer who sent her this.
Hello, Abigail. I love you so much, darling. I had to make this video to make you happy, my love.
You imagine there's someone right now working in an AI factory that's just creating that video for every name in the book so they can take advantage of all the elderly women that still watch General Hospital?
I wonder what this woman thought her elderly mother was doing on the internet 20 hours a day. Hey, Mom, why are you on the computer again? Shh, I'm learning how to build a bomb. Stop talking.
This is also a public service announcement with check in with your elderly parents to make sure they're not being scammed.
She probably thought she was just playing solitaire.
Hello, Abigail. I love you so much, darling. I had to make this video to make you happy, my love.
To General Hospital fans, this face and voice are instantly recognizable as the likeness of Steve Burton.
We're going to be there to stop him, one way or another.
Burton has played the leading role of Jason Morgan since 1991 and is a fan favorite.
That is a long run on a soap.
How sexual do you think these conversations got?
What else did the AI generate?
I wonder if he sent her any Richard pics.
This is the real Burton on set.
She was a dead ringer for Britt.
And this is a dead ringer for Burton.
Okay, that's pretty good writing.
Yeah, it is.
I hope this puts a smile on your heart.
Tech experts we showed this video to believe it was created with AI.
And you should always know that nothing will ever make me hurt you or lie to you, my queen.
See, AI, not just used to try to get you a better deal on a flight, it can also be used to scam your parents.
Okay, all of us have to have a little self-realization here. He is a guy who's been on a television show for how many decades?
3.5.
Okay. I realize that all of us have to have some kind of self-worth, and we have to look in the mirror and feel good about ourselves. But that guy is not going to go on the internet and search for the oldest surviving Confederate widow so he can sweet talk her.
Well, it's not like you're talking about an audience where the mind is all there.
No, but come on. This daughter needs to look at her mother in the face and slap her right across the face and say, "Wake up!"
Identical to him. So I understand why she fell for it.
After Abigail received similar videos in her Facebook DMs in October of last year, she thought,
"Hey, Steve Burton slammed into my DMs."
You know, I'm surprised to hear that because I thought those two met on a kink website.
Abigail received similar videos in her Facebook DMs in October of last year. She thought,
"Wait, how is he messaging me? He's on the TV right now."
And he's interested in me, of all people.
She thought the real General Hospital star was in love with her. The scammer moved the conversation over to WhatsApp, where
nothing good happens on WhatsApp.
Oh, no. Let's move the conversation from Facebook to something that foreign governments can't look at.
By the way, Zuckerberg owns both of those apps.
That's true.
Where he told Abigail, "I want to live the rest of my life with you." Steve Burton and Abigail Burton sounds like a dream come true.
Oh, he's leading her on now.
Oh, come on.
And you're my wife.
In her head, there was no scammer. She was talking to Steve Burton the entire time.
I wonder how much of this woman's time this relationship occupied.
Well, you might have to put in a lot of man hours, but if you get hundreds of thousands of dollars in checks and crypto, it's all worth it to the scammer.
Right now we're going through, well, let's call it an odd edition of the Crime Blotter.
We're talking about an elderly woman in South L.A. that believed, thanks to an AI impersonation scam, that she was dating a star from General Hospital. Let's continue with ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Vivian says her mother has suffered with mental illness and bipolar 1 disorder for years.
You don't say.
Well, it sounds like the soap opera star was able to exploit that.
Again, might want to make sure if your parents are elderly and they have certain mental conditions that you have power of attorney and you have signatory on the banks. Because that's your inheritance that just went to a Chinese scammer.
It is way too dangerous to allow them to spend their time on the computer unsupervised. Just give them the keys to the car and tell them to have fun.
And she says that's why when the scammer, posing as the soap star, texted her mom that he lost properties in the LA fires, Abigail believed it.
Oh, that's so mean.
Wait a minute. He said Karen Bass burned his house down too?
Yes, and that's why he needed help from her to buy them a new dream house.
Abigail was also fooled with texts like this. "The beach house is something we will love, baby." Thinking Steve Burton needed money so they could buy a home to share together, her mother, according to an
Our love shack, I can't pay for it alone on a soap actor's salary.
Oh, no, and it's got to be in Malibu.
According to an LAPD incident report, sent the scammer at least $81,304 in gift cards, cash, and Bitcoin.
That didn't raise a red flag?
By the way, how does an elderly woman know how to get her hands on Bitcoin?
Oh, the scammers explain it to you step by step of what to do.
$80,000 for a home in Malibu that was just destroyed by a fire won't even pay for the permits.
Now she's in complete debt. Now she's going to have to file for bankruptcy.
But it gets even worse. Earlier this year, Abigail texted the scammer, "I remember you had suggested to sell the place. I said no. Now, I don't care."
Here we go.
All the signs of a good con make them think it's their idea.
The scammer replied, if selling...
Again, we're not here to make fun of this elderly woman. We're here as a public service to make sure this doesn't happen to your demented parents.
I wonder if this guy reached out to Joe Biden.
The scammer replied, if selling the place is what will give us a fresh start and bring us closer to where we both want to be, then I am behind you.
So who's reaching out to Biden? Susan Lucci?
Could be.
Abigail then sold her condo in Harbor City for $350,000. Vivian learned...
That sounds like a fire sale right there.
Well, she needed that money fast.
Vivian learned of all of this right in the nick of time.
Had I not...
So how often were you paying attention to your mom?
Not as often as the soap opera actor.
Had I not intervened when I did, she was scheduled to send the scammer $70,000 out of that money that was sitting there.
And then what? He'd ask for the rest the next week?
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, when your home burns down, you're broke.
She's ashamed. I know she is. And
how do you think that conversation went when the daughter had to break the news to mom that she's not really dating Sean Burton from General Hospital? Steve Burton.
Okay, Mom, we got to have a talk here. I know you think you're engaged to Steve Burton, and the two of you will live a very, very romantic life together at his new home in Malibu, the one that you paid for after the old one burned down. But I've got something to tell you. That is not Steve Burton. It's not even Urkel. It's no one on television. No one that has been on television. No one that's even alive. You have been talking to AI this entire time. Like when you call Rez and someone talks to you on the phone that sounds like a robot, and you realize instantly that you're not talking to a person in the Philippines. You're talking to someone that is AI. That's your relationship with your quote-unquote fiancé.
And to put that stress on me, on herself, on my dad, the entire family. I know.
Oh, Dad's still around?
Wait, so she was cheating on Dad?
Maybe they're divorced. But still, there's going to be a lot of I told you so's in that conversation.
I know it weighs heavy on her.
And unfortunately, the living, breathing Steve Burton has heard of stories like this before.
See, this is why you have to get the ABC7 version of this story, is because they own General Hospital, and they went to General Hospital to talk to Steve Burton about this.
Oh, and they own all the footage, too.
How many women do you think have fallen victim to this?
Oh, that I know of?
Yeah.
I mean, that I know of lost money, it's in the hundreds.
Oh, my goodness.
And, you know, they're cutting down on his ability to make money. Because when those soap opera actors age out, becoming a gigolo is something that's an option.
Hundreds of women have been defrauded thinking that they're dating Steve Burton.
I wonder, you know, back when the technology was a lot more primitive, how many women out there thought that they were going to marry the great Don Knotts?
Burton says here on his verified Instagram account, he sees scammers responding to fan comments to lure them to other pages where they are eventually asked for money.
First of all, I don't need your money. I would never ask for money.
We also show
this is your public service announcement. Steve Burton does not need your crypto.
No, he doesn't. He's doing quite well.
We also showed him the video that duped Abigail.
Hello, Abigail. I love you so much, darling.
Sounds like my voice for sure, 100%.
And he's seen ones like this before. Burton now calls this style of scam an epidemic.
I see people come to my appearances and look at me like they've had a relationship online.
This isn't just your typical soap opera obsessed fan. These people, because of the scams, literally think they're in a relationship with them. So when they go to SoapCon at the LA Convention Center, they say, Steve, it's me.
Yeah, I might call in sick that day if I'm him.
For a couple years, and I'm like, no, I'm sorry, I don't know who you are. And you just see, it's so sad, you see the devastation.
We can't be the only ones going through this.
No, you're not. There are hundreds of people out there right now that think they're in a relationship with this actor.
And when you put mom in a nursing home, she'll meet them.
Get signatory. All of you right now. Have that conversation with mom and dad.